Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Daily Update by 1000 Days Challenge. This is day 391, so let's get things started. Alright, so first and foremost, you'll notice the balance remained the same, but actually I've taken, I think, 2 losses for the main account, so it'll be dropped another 200 plus each, inclusive of transaction fee and slippages. And experimental trade setup, I think, still remains the same. There's no stop loss being triggered at the moment, but let me just double check later after this video itself. But otherwise, in terms of market structure update, what you do see over here is it remains the same comparing it to yesterday itself. So no major shift in terms of market structure on the daily chart if you're looking in terms of the market structure wise on a daily basis. So you can see that price is still very much above on new all-time high region for Nasdaq, similarly for S&P 500 as well. So momentum wise definitely seems to be decreasing, but nothing to be too cautious about in terms of price action wise or even in terms of volume wise. Yep, but for index wise, yeah, you don't see the volume, especially for that. So for ASHR wise, things is definitely like what I mentioned, even though it has a strong bounce and we still stay over there for yesterday itself, it seems that now we are trending towards the downside again. So not necessarily a bad sign, but I said as long as we do trend towards the downside, let's see how low we can go. A bounce on this 0.618 level is definitely a good sign that we could be a continuation towards the upper end. This could be the first wave, but let's see if this is the first sub wave of the wave 3 itself. So if that's the case, we cannot break lower than this 0.618, in which case if this is broken, then tentatively I will say that the bearish momentum still remains strong and we could still see further strong bearish momentum towards the downside in that particular scenario. So overall, KWEB itself, the tech stock itself, things looks a little bit more stabilized. Even though price is fluctuating in between this price range itself, I'm not saying that it's entirely bearish or bullish, but one clear thing for certain is that the sellers are less aggressive now, and secondly, the buyers are a little bit more cautious, simply because in terms of regulations wise of how the Chinese government has played, might have putting a little bit more cautious in terms of the general public, even myself inclusive. But that being said, if you look in terms of rationally speaking, now we are really quite potentially a significant low that if you look back in terms of 5 to 10 years down the road, especially if you look in terms of the high over here, and then over to here, we're still having a good 50% discount. And I'm pretty sure when talking about good stocks, for example, the China stock itself, the tech stock itself, to me, I still see them as strong in terms of mid to long term, say for the 5 to 10 years time frame. If, however, you are looking just to invest for the next 1 to 2 years, then tentatively it may not be the best time to invest. In terms of tech stocks, more like a trading, I do see going up in terms of 1 to 2 years, but it may not recover back to the all-time high within the next 1 to 2 year time frame. At least that is in my own personal opinion. So for Bitcoin itself, we definitely have continued to retrace, and it seems that for the past few days, it's been zigzagging, and it's been affecting in terms of both my experimental and my main trading account setup. But that's fine, that's part and parcel of the setup that, or the systematic setup that I do have. And if you look in terms of the 4-hour chart itself, I do see potential bounce, especially of this key level itself. So I would say that potentially we could actually fall further before we see some strong support, but potentially over here we do see some strong rejection towards the downside, and then some sort of support over here, but that is not confirmed yet. So for me to have a clear confirmation is I wanted to break this downslope trend line. So there's 2 ways we can break about it. One is we go down, and then all the way, the longer we take, the easier for it to break, because this downslope trend line will definitely be broken someday down the road. The question is when. And if it's actually consolidate near here and break over here, there will be a more perfect kind of a situation. However, if it does actually goes over here, I'll be very keen to, in terms of long-term position wise, especially for the monthly edition for August, and perhaps even adding a little bit ahead in terms of September itself. But bearing in mind that in terms of historically speaking, it has been said that September seems to be a tentatively bearish month for Bitcoin itself, but historically speaking, but that's not to say that every single year it will be the same case. And even if that's the case, there will be certain months that we do go towards the upside or even maintain a similar price range itself. So for me right now, I'm just waiting for clearer support in terms of long-term investment. In terms of trading wise, I'll still continue to enter in terms of long side buyers on a 4-hour chart basis. And yep, with that said, I've come to the end of today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below. But I'm basically waiting for clear change in bullish market structure on the 4-hour chart and a break of this downward trend line in order for me to enter along based on price action itself. Yep, so with that said, I've come to the end of today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.